from the beginning, uh, from the beginning of the police Sri Lanka, the police wants to control people. Actually, I think the British, we know that British introduced police to control people, not to prevent crime or maintain peace. So this police are same up to now. Present, the police is the police want to show that there is not a ordinary department. They always want to show that they like a force. They like to tell we are in the police force, but it's not. It's a civilian organization. So this police, the main purpose at present time, the police is used to control people, to gather information, not on criminal matters, but on political matters, on intelligence. And they were mainly used to control people, to safeguard the politician, and the politician means the government, parliamentarians, ministers, and so-called VIPs. So only very few people in the police were used to maintain peace in the community, to prevent crimes. So this is the type of police we have, and the main thing, the police is corrupt from top to bottom. There may be except few policemen who is not can be not corrupt, but they are silent. So they are in one way is helping corruption. So other than the police work, as I told earlier, is not focused on prevention of crime and investigation of crimes. They are more interested in working to focus on these statutory laws. We have laws called statutory laws. For example, excise laws. So then other laws that are being enacted from various acts. So they are more interested because these are the things that they can take easily bribes. And if a person were the persons were convicted, normally the courts give them heavy fines. So half of the fines will go to the police. And they are more interested on traffic laws, but it is the same. So most of these people who get involved in this, they don't want to go to courts. They want to settle the cases then and there by offering bribes. If somehow they go to the courts, they were forced to plead guilty by first of all the judges indirectly, sometimes directly said, why don't you plead guilty? It will be easy for you and all. I will impose a reasonable fine, pay it and go. Then the lawyers also to lawyers who want to satisfy the courts and to satisfy the police. They also ask their client, why don't you plead guilty? So these people normally plead guilty. So it helps everybody except the person who got involved. Others are all satisfied. The judge satisfied, but he doesn't have to hear a case or declare a judgment. The lawyer satisfied, he got his fee. The police satisfied, they got a successful case plus money. So this is the vicious circle that we are having in our police. When they take a person arrested, from the time of arrested, they start torturing. First thing, when they arrest a person, according to law, the police must explain what is the charges, why he was arrested. They never explain that. If somebody asks, why are you going to arrest me? Definitely it will be a worse situation. They will start assaulting and abusing. If somebody protested, they will arrest that person also. So torture starts from the beginning of arrest. By variation, by abusing, by using obscene language, then ill treatment, and they will kept. Sometimes that person will be brought to police station, and sometimes they kept in the cells. Sometimes they will take into places like barracks. Normally they take the barracks and keep him. They never entered the details of the arrest person, because they, in various ways, they will benefit. They show to the society that we have arrested a person. Then if it is a crime, the complainant, the victim of the crime, the party will satisfy, yes, now the person has been arrested. Then if for other things, if somebody go to the police for complaint of a theft or assault or something, the police will say, yes, we will arrest him and we will give him a good lesson. But sometimes the director said, we have no vehicle to go to his place and arrest him, or we don't have enough petrol or diesel to go to his place and arrest him. Then they behave in a way that the complainant will understand they need something. So they will provide them money, from a cigarette to bottle of liquor. Everything they will provide. So the police take from that part. Then they threaten the other party, the arrested person. Then those people, the relatives or the friends or the people, will also try to influence the police by bribing, not to assault him, not to torture him. So both ways they start torturing. Then torturing is not, normally they think torturing people to get some information. In Sri Lanka it is not. They torture to satisfy some people. That is the normal way. Then they torture that person. If it is, then if the person was tortured, then police know they will get into trouble. To save their skin, they will fabricate a charge and produce him before courts. you know, that I can't answer, because it is because if till he is convicted, the presumption is he is innocent. So what we can say, if the person doesn't admit or not plead guilty, definitely in time he will be released, he will be acquitted. So to investigate crimes, it will, I think most of these people doesn't have the potential of investigating the modern scientific ways, equipments like that. The government doesn't provide them with those things also. Only very few have been trained to investigate crime.
So
Very few.
how does the government expect the police to investigate crime?
No, they don't want to investigate crime because they are not interested. For this, from 1982 up to 2006, we have collected or documented more than 150 fundamental right judgments against police on torture, on ill treatment and fabricating charges, like those things. So in these judgments, the Supreme Court has said very clearly the police is not doing their real job. They are not doing investigating on crimes. They are more interested on doing the investigation of filing cases on statutory laws. Then they said, even though we have direct asked these people to pay compensation, ask government to pay compensation, and though we have ordered many times to the government and the chief of the police to take steps to stop these things, they have ignored everything. That is clearly mentioned in almost all the judgments. It is better to have this type of police, so it is useful to them. The government means the parliamentarians, the other members of the local government, because they can also manipulate police, and police also can manipulate those people. So these are the benefits they have in the time of election. So normally happen if somebody was arrested. In Sri Lanka, even now, the relations of the arrested person will go to a politician, and the politician immediately contact the police, and they said, he's my man, why don't you do something to him? Though sometimes they were released on the instruction of the police. In the other way also, if the politician want to put somebody into trouble, then they also ask police, why don't you do something to that person, he is troubling too much. If some person's house was broken or theft was happened, then that person will not go to the police. They will go to a politician or a VIP, and they direct the police to do something to this. So these are the things. These are real stories. Reveal these things, not just imagine.
What about the problems with pre-trial detention?
That is the worst thing. That is the problem. The other problem with the judiciary. When a person is arrested, first they will take him according to the law. They should be, according to the law, when a person is arrested, his health condition should be inquired and take attention. But the police doesn't do anything of that time. after assaulting, after keeping for several days in the police station, because in Sri Lanka only 24 hours you can keep a police maximum, they will take to a medical officer. The police is very shrewd and they know, they will see that the person will taken to a medical person who is known to them or who is having some connection to them. Then that person will issue the medical certificate that he will be fit to remand.
Does the medical officer also get money?
It is not only money. In these things, you know, these medical officers also want the help of the police for various things. So one medical officer who was having a chat with us, interviewing with us, and then I asked him in this place, why are you giving helping this policeman? He said a very simple question. When we travel, when we driving, we normally we are not bothered of the traffic laws, especially high speed, and we have this all sort of traffic laws. So we will break them. If the police stop us, what will we do? We will never show to them our national identity card. We will show them our hospital identity. Immediately they will salute us and say, you can go. This is the very simple way what is happening in Sri Lanka. This is very simple.
And after the medical officer in the pre-trial detention?
Yeah, then they, after, with that sort of medical report, medical legal report, they will produce this person to the magistrate. You know, in Sri Lanka we have several types of magistrate. In the daytime we will have the real magistrate in course. After 2 or 3 afternoon he will go. He will appoint a person from the local bar to act on behalf of him. We call them acting magistrates. So all these acting magistrates are with the police, because in Sri Lanka the touting, whether it is, they say it is illegal or something, but the police is touting. So this is the way. Then the police will normally take this person to when in the afternoon or night to this type of a so-called magistrate. So without even seeing that person, they will immediately giving the orders to remand him.
How long does
This type of remanding, it can be take 1 day to sometime 10 to 15 years, sometime lifetime.
the remand can
Yeah,
last a
yeah,
lifetime?
it will be held that person, because there are many examples that pre-trial detainee may be 24 hours, and it can be ended till his life.
In the
Oh,
trial.
then that is the then this magistrate, when it come to, then the first question in the first day, when they were produced to the courts, they will ask whether you are guilty or not guilty. If they plead guilty, then the question is over. They will impose a fine or simple punishment, and the thing is over. But if the person said not guilty, then magistrate will start to harass them. Then he will be remanded again and again till he, sometime the magistrate will say, if you don't plead guilty, you will be in the remand. You don't plead guilty, you will be in the remand. So this will go on. Then sometime people will broke down and say, yes, I am guilty. There are many cases, many examples we can give. So this is the situation of pretrial detention. And if sometimes in very recent case is going on, a case, the people, a group of people, they fought, they got many lawyers to the on behalf to talk about, to represent them, and these lawyers fought in the courts. This offence is bailable. Why don't you release him on bail? Then ultimately this judge, yes, I'll give them bail. You know what are the conditions? 200,000 rupees, 2 sureties, and you have to go to that police station every week and sign. So these are the bail conditions. So these bail conditions are completely illegal. There are many High Court, Court of Appeal judgments says that asking people to go to the police station to sign as a bail condition is illegal, but the magistrates are doing that. Even up to now, very recently this happened. That is also nobody knows. Normally it will take about 5 to 6 years. Normally it will take about 5 to 6 years. Yes, if the person was working on the right way. Right way means not to just waiting for the trial to get the lawyer to get him, the process. Not that, but there are other ways you can challenge the system. We have already done it and very successfully, but it is very difficult to get the people to convince that type of struggle, that type of fight, because the majority of the community think these are not workable, especially the elite, including lawyers. The lawyers doesn't want this type of agitation or out of court fighting going on, because it will affect their pockets. The lawyers like to drag on the case, but every time it will, every day they will get money. And the court staff, the other members of the judiciary, they are also, most of them, I think 99% of them are corrupt. They take bribery. We have a very good case now. A very innocent man was robbed when he was alone, an old man. All the jewelry in the house was taken by these robbers. But fortunately, police got caught there. And part of the jewelry were produced in courts as what you call it? As evidence, material evidence. After that person, the 2 robbers were found guilty and the court were closed down. Then the court has ordered that 2% to pay compensation. Lawyers advise these people, forget about it. Why don't you fight? The innocent registrar will get into trouble. Innocent registrar of the court will get into trouble. Sometimes the magistrate will get into trouble. Why don't you forget it? This is the instruction from the lawyers of that court. So this was, they came to us. Now we are fighting. It affects very largely, but nobody care about it, because anybody will get personally affected, then only will start thinking about this system. Otherwise, they are they are not interested on this thing. This happened to that person, it will never happen to me, they think. That is the problem. And most of the people doesn't know, because very few, if you take the whole community, only very few will go to the courts, no? If you get the statistic, only very few will go to courts. The other will never think, then they will think we never go to courts. It is not our matter. There are few people who are interested on this, the human rights people, even some doctors, even few lawyers, even rarely sometimes one or two policemen.
Come here.
They will come here or they will send these people here. It is very, very few. That's the thing. But these things are never come to for a discussion, social discussion. I think the most affected people are the family, not the victim. If it is died, then it will be another story. If when a person was arrested and gone through this process, the family is actually destroyed. Economically, socially, and psychologically. None is to fight against this system. That is the only way. Raising awareness is not 100% solution. It's only a part. With the awareness, we have to fight individual cases. It's not the usual way of fighting. Go to the courts with the help of a lawyer and going on the same process. But we have to find alternative ways of fighting, because in the system there are many ways that are available. So that is what we are doing, and we are inventing other type of ways to fight this thing. By that and other thing, with these affected people, we have to make them actually not dependent of us. If that is complete failure, we have to empower them to fight. So they must get the leadership. What we can do to doing some push. In correct way, they must involve by giving this message to the world. Actually, what is happening in Sri Lanka? Most of the international people who met us for the last 2 decades, they want to interpret the torture, UN torture convention. But it is something beyond, because they have never seen a system like that. Because they said we don't have torture, then so how can they think about torture? And they know the way of torturing people in some research this thing. They know how the people are tortured in Guantanamo or Iraq, but it's completely different here. Common method is beating or assaulting by using hands, feet, and they normally use rubber horses. Now, earlier they use wooden poles, but now they use rubber horses. All this means the marks will be vanished in very few hours, and no visible injuries, only internal injuries will be there. So our doctors will never bother to go to find out what are the internal injuries. So this is the normal. Then from that, from starting beating, from the beginning, then it can go to various methods. Applying chili is very common. Then they use this very common method we call it dharma chakra, by keeping a people just like roll them in a pole. We call it dharma chakra method. These are the common. Then the phalanga, it is very common. It's hitting the soul. It's very common. So these are the methods. Then other is abusing. In using filth words, abusing the people who come visiting them, especially the women. The normal people who asking whether we have this sexual abuse. Normally they will, for men they will use chilies on the genitals and all those places, genital. But for women they always abuse. All sort of obscene language they will use, and they will threaten in them. We will rape you, we will like that. These are the type of methods they are using. At present the government is doing nothing. Yes, because large governments, they use white vans, they use all sort of repressive methods, they threat people. So there is nothing that sort. But still they have not started to improve these things. So that's why I say they are doing nothing. So doing nothing is good. We feel all very free now. So that's why I told you earlier that you must use this space very quickly, because it might go on either way. And they said we are not interfering with the judiciary, and they show it practically by up to now, as outsiders, we see that the government is not interfering in the upper courts, in the superior courts. But independence of judiciary is, to my understanding, is not only non-interference by the politician. It should be independent, means you should have independent judges. That means not well knowledgeable, and who has courage, and who is not corrupt. So at the majority of our judges who has come from the last regime, we know they are corrupt, and they don't know any law. They are using police vehicle, they go without any this thing, they go in jeeps in the front seat with the policeman. Can you imagine judges of that time? So we civil society can't educate it. Only civil society can what do is to discuss this matter. Up to now nobody is very majority of civil society doesn't want to talk about it. They think it is not our this thing to talk about the judiciary, and they are giving a message that challenging judiciary is wrong, and it is up to defamation or something like that. But it is completely wrong. If a judge is doing something illegal, we have to come out with it. We practically shows it can be done, because we have already published even books against judges, naming them that this judgment is wrong, and this judge is behave like that. Nothing happened to us. I don't know future what will happen.
Does anything happen to the judge that you named?
No, that is the problem. They were all safeguard. But by going on, by pressure, by without any break, then they have to take some this thing. There are few examples.
Since the regime changed?
No, earlier also, because earlier also there is space. There is not 100%. Even in the time of in the Hitler's time, people work, no. So what is this Rajapaksa regime? This is nothing. So people work. We against them. We work against them. We work against the judiciary, corrupt judges. There are some results.
Are you optimistic?
Yes, I am always optimistic.
Anything you want to add?
The only thing we have to work with the people. That is the thing. We have to work with the people. Regardlessly, we have to expose people who are doing wrong. Whether they may be friends or maybe relatives or maybe in the same party group or same class. We have to expose them. That is our way.